Okay, so we're looking at now linear programming to solve problems. And I've got my ruler here, got my pencil, so we're good to go. So it says Quality Bats manufactures two different quality wood baseball bats, the Gold Star bat and the Premium bat. So we're going to let X equal the number of Gold Star bats. And we'll let Y equal the number of Premium bats. So it says write an inequality to represent each constraint. Gold Star bat takes 8 hours to trim and lathe. And the Premium bat takes 5 hours to trim and lathe. The maximum time for trimming and lathing is 80 hours. So, depending on the bat, it takes 8 hours for the Premium bat, or Gold Star bat, sorry, which would be our X. And it takes 5 hours for the Premium bat, which would be our Y. Tells us we have a total of 80 hours. So there would be one of our constraints. So looking at the X and Y intercept then, I will take and let's see, for X and Y, if X is 0, so when I put a 0 in for the X, that leaves me with 5Y equals 80. So if I divide both by 5, then 80 divided by 5 should give me, let's see, 16. Yeah. So 16 would be our y-intercept. And our x-intercept, so when y is 0, it's 8x equals 80. And that will be 10, because when I divide by 8, my x-intercept is 10, 0. And let's go ahead and change this to the inequality. So 8 hours times the gold bats, 5 hours times the premium bats should be less than or equal to 80. And that gets us the right constraint there. Okay, next it says the Gold Star bat takes 2 hours to finish. The premium bat takes 5 hours to finish. Maximum time for finishing is 50 hours. So we'll set up a similar equation, 2x plus 5y equals 50. And not equals, that should be less than or equal to. Remember that this time. And as I'm looking for my x and y intercept, when x is 0 for my y-intercept, that would be 10. So my y-intercept is 0, 10. And my x-intercept, when y is 0, it's 2x equals 50, so half of 50 is 25. That'd be 25 and 0. Okay, then we're also going to naturally have the constraints of being greater than 0 and greater than or less than 0, or greater than 0 on the x-axis and the y-axis. There we go. So that kind of gives us an idea as to our constraints. But let's get this on the grid here. So they were nice. They've given us a grid this time. So on this, I know I've got to go up to 25. So I'm thinking I'll label every 2. Okay, so it gets a little small there, but as long as I'm up to 25, I'm good. And then on the y-axis, 12, 14, 16. Yeah, I'm only going up to 16 as I go up to 16 there. All right, then I need to graph the system of inequalities. So just remember I've got my y-axis there, my x-axis there, and reason we say that it can't go below these is because we can't go into negative number of hours or have negative profit, or we can't make a negative number of bats. So let's graph our lines. I've got my first line is going from 10, 0 up to 0, 16. So 10, 0 there up to 0, 16. And it's less than or equal to, so that's going to be going towards the axis. And my other line will be 25, 0 and 0, 10. So 25 there and 10 there. Got our two lines, so that will be our regions of possibility of how many different bats we could make for each. Okay, next we go to find the corners. So when I do that, I need to first take and realize that I'm probably going to do elimination on these because I've got 5y here and here. So when I write these out, I'm going to go ahead and take the gold star, the 2x plus 5y less than or equal to 50, change those to negatives. So to do that, I would multiply both sides by -1. That way I can do 8x plus 5y less than or equal to, or it'll just be equal to in this instance, 80. Then I have -2x minus 5y equals -50. So that leaves me with 6x equals 30. I divide both of those by 6. Then I end up with x equals 5. Plug that into either one of my equations. So let's say I do my x equals 5. If I plug it in here, 8 times 5 is 40. So 40 plus 5y equals 80. Then when I subtract 40 from both sides, I end up with 5y equals 40. Divide by 5, that gets me a y value of 8. So I'll have one of my corners is 5, 8. And I'm going to the other page here. But I have a corner that's 5, 8. I also have a corner that's 10, 0 and 0, 10. So those would be my corners. Last but not least, it tells me my profit for this would be $17 for the Gold Star bat, $29 for the Premium bat. So for each of those, I'll work that out. And when I do the 5 and 8, 17 times 5 plus 29 times 8 gives me 317. When I do 10, 0, then 17 times 10, 29 times 0 gets me 170. And for 0, 10, I would have 17, 0 plus 29, 10 gives me 290. So there's my maximum, there's my minimum, okay, in terms of how much profit I would make. So those are all the steps for that first one. I'll post another video going over the other ones here in a little while.